everyone, welcome to Jolly Molly TV. Today we're going to work on another fun block in Kimberbell's Pumpkins and Potions ladder quilt project. In today's video we are going to be working on this block right here. That is the number 31. This will be a fun block to make. So let's go ahead and grab your plastic pouch or plastic bag system that you've labeled with the number 31 for block number 31. And let's head over to the machine and let's get started stitching. Okay, we're at the machine and I'm going to make sure I put a bobbin of white thread down below. I am going to be using for this block my 8" by 8" hoop, and I've put a piece of the poly no-show mesh stabilizer in this hoop. And then I'm going to have you grab your plastic pouch system that you've labeled 31, because today we're doing that 31 block. Pull all those fabrics out. This is my background fabric. I love that. That's Orange Cats. I'm using my stash. So if you have the kit, it'll be something different. And then of course I've got black, and I've got a little bit of that fabulous white glitter fabric that I love so much. I'm going to put those to a side. And now I'm going to find a matching thread from my background fabric. I want to use this thread for several stitches, for the placement line, for the batting, the tack down for the batting, the placement for the fabric and the tack down, and more likely even the quilting, because I'm going to want the quilting design to blend in. I have kind of busy fabric and I want that just to kind of blend in with this fabric, and then let the applique that we're going to do later be the star of the block. So once you find a matching or blending thread, put that in the top of your machine. And then we're going to go to the screen cam and we're going to load this design. Okay. Get that thread in there. I'm going to move the fabric out of the way, and then we'll go load the design. We are good. All right, let's go to the screen cam. Okay, let's load the design. I have a Baby Lock Destiny machine, which is the identical match to a Brother Dream machine. So if you have something similar, you can follow along. I'm going to click on Embroidery. I'm going to go to my flash drive. I'm going to go to my Pumpkins and Potions folder. And I am looking for the quilting designs, because we're doing the quilting before we do the machine embroidery. So we do block by block quilting is what it's called. So I'm looking for Halloween 8. And now I'm looking for a 6 by 6 design, which is this one right here. That looks great. I'm going to click set. And then I'm going to add a second design. If your machine can't add, don't worry. You're going to stitch this out first, clear your machine memory, and then load the machine embroider design and then stitch that out. Okay? So I'm going to click add, go back to my flash drive, go back to Pumpkins and Potions, and I'm looking for the block 31, which is right here. Let's click on that, and I'm going to click set. And it brings it in. It's automatically centered, so I don't have to do anything to it. And I'm going to click embroidery. All right, that looks great. All right, so let's go back to the hoop cam, and we are ready to start stitching. Like I said earlier, make sure you've got a matching thread in the top of your machine that matches your background fabric. And let's put the foot down and let's stitch out the placement line for the batting. Here we go. So now I'm going to pull a piece of batting out of my pre-cut batting pile, and that I've labeled 7 by 7". That's the size we need for this block. And I'm going to put the rest of this aside. Okay, so now I'm going to place my batting down and make sure that I have all of that stitch line covered on all 4 sides. Okay. We are looking all right. Then I'm going to hold it down with my stylus. Keep your fingers away from the moving needle, and let's tack down the batting. Here we go. All right, so now I want you to take your hoop off the machine, take it over to your table, and I need you to trim away all of this excess batting from around the outside of that stitch line, and I'll meet you right back here. Okay, we're back, and this is all trimmed up. So now we're going to put our foot down, keep the same orange thread up at the top of your machine, and we're going to stitch out the placement line for the fabric. Here we go. Nice. So now I'm going to put my fabric down. I have fused the back of it with a fusible to help support my background fabric. This could be Paylon 860, SF 101, or the Kimberbell fusible. Any brand will work. And then I'm going to place it, make sure I've covered all the stitch lines, and I can actually feel for the edges of the batting. And by doing that, I can kind of tell if my fabric is centered on that batting, which is kind of cool. There's plenty of room around on this fabric that we're going to be cutting off, so you don't have to be perfect. Just kind of judge that you're approximately center, and that is good enough, all right? So now keep the same color thread in the top of your machine. Let's put the foot down, and let's tack down the fabric. I just want to say a huge thank you to Kimberbell for sponsoring me in this project and for providing the Pumpkins and Potions quilting bundle for me to use in this project. This quilting bundle is amazing. It is definitely something that you can look at in order to enhance this project. It comes with all of these amazing designs. You get a cauldron, you get a spider web, some happy ghosts that look like they have little glasses on. This border is amazing. I cannot wait to show you the borders. And you get this cool pumpkin and ghost and 31 on there. It's just a bunch of fun. So if you're able to get this quilting bundle, it's going to just make your project pop. The borders, I cannot wait. Look at these borders. There's 2 of them, and I'm going to try to incorporate both of them in this project. You get enough files in each of the designs to be able to do any combination of size that you could possibly think of for this project and our other projects. And you also get the block tile sizes for the clear blue tiles quilting method as well in each of the designs. So I highly recommend, if you can do this, this is amazing. Please use the link in the description below to purchase the bundle from Kimberbell.com. All right, so now it's time for my favorite part, the quilting. I'm going to use the same color orange thread that I have up on top, and I'm going to quilt out this design. It's a 3-minute in real life stitch outs. So let's enjoy. Here we go. Look at that. I love Kimberbell's background quilting. It makes each block so special. Just am in love with their designs. I totally will use them on every project from here on out because I think it's just amazing. Love it. Okay, so now we're going to switch out the thread that we have on top and take out my orange thread here. And now we're going to put in a thread, which probably will be black. It's going to match your circle fabric, which is what we're going to be using next. So I'm going to put black thread in my machine up on top. And I have a thread stand, so I get to play Thread Olympics because the thread stand should really be on the back side of your machine. I know I've said this in other videos, but that way your thread doesn't get caught in the wheel on the side of your machine and cause a nest inside that wheel, which means a trip to the machine doctor. So it's a Herculean effort. There we go. Get that knot out to get to the back of my thread stand, but we do it, right? It's our exercise here, our embroidery Olympics, as we call it. And now I'm going to stitch out the placement line for that black fabric. Here we go. Okay, so now I'm going to take the hoop gently off the machine just so I can see what I'm doing a little bit clearer. And I'm going to lay this black fabric down, making sure that I covered all sides of that placement line. All right, so we're good to go. So then I'm going to put my hoop back on. Leave the black thread up on top, and let's put the foot down and let's tack down this circle fabric. Here we go. Okay, that looks good. So now what I'm going to do is have you take the hoop off the machine. I want you to take this over to a table, and I want you to trim away around that outside line and trim away the excess of this fabric, and I'll meet you right back here. Okay, that's trimmed up nicely. And a little trick, if you ever happen to get any fabric confetti, as I call it, from trimming, just get a piece of Scotch tape and gently use it to pick up any of those little confetti pieces. Even though it is fun to watch them be on the fabric when you stitch out, they dance around like little jelly beans. They could actually get into your new stitches that you're doing and make it kind of rough. So I do like to pick those up. But once in a while, you'll still see a jelly bean floating around. But that's why I call them, because they dance like jelly beans. Okay, so let's put the hoop back on the machine. And now I'm going to switch thread. I'm going to take the black out of my machine. Come on, where are you? It's hiding from me. There we go. Because that's always the proper way to take the thread out, is to bring it down and out. Okay, now we're going to put white thread in the top of my machine, because now we're going to be working on the numbers in the middle that say 31. And since my fabric is going to be white, I want to put white thread up in that top of my machine to match that. And then we're going to stitch out the placement line for the numbers 31. All right, you ready? All right, here we go. Foot down, let's go. Okay, so now take your fabric that you're using for the number 31, and I want you to go ahead and place it and make sure that you cover all of the placement line on all sides. And when you're good to go, I'm going to hold it down with my stylus, put the foot down, keep your fingers away from the needle, and let's tack down the fabric for number 31. Nice. Okay, so now what I want you to do is take the hoop off the machine, and I want you to go to a table, and I want you to trim around the outside of this letter, around 1, and then come around and do around number 3. Now, if you have a type of a curved scissor, this would be very, very handy and useful in allowing you to get into these corners without nicking the black fabric or the orange fabric or the stabilizer down below. So use a pair of curved scissors to get into there. If you don't have any, check out my description, and I have a link to Amazon where I get my Havel scissors. These are my favorite because they really allow me to get into that point without going down below. All right, so I will meet you right back here when that's done. Isn't that great? Okay, that's all trimmed up. Now we're going to leave white thread up on the top of our machine because it's going to stitch some decorative outline around the number 31. Okay, white thread up on top. That is very nice. So now I want to take the white thread out from the top of my machine, and I want to put black thread back in, because now we're going to stitch out a satin stitch around the outside edge. This is going to be fun. I love satin stitches. I love the way they finish off a block or an applique. It just gives it a nice finishing touch. Okay, do I have a loop? No, I'm good. All right, this is a 6-minute in real life stitch out. So put the foot down and enjoy. Very nice. Okay, we've only got 2 stitches left, and this is going to involve, if you follow Kimberbell's instructions, a lighter orange and a darker orange. The lighter orange is going to be an interior line in the circle, and then we'll switch it out at the end to do the satin stitches for the inner border inside this. So the first thing I want to do is do the first inner border, which is going to be a light orange, or you can change it up. You can make it purple, you can make it teal, you can make it any color you want, because it's your block. So put the color thread you would like to do your first inner border in, and we'll put that color thread up above. So for me, I'm going to do the lighter orange. Let me thread that. Oops. There we go. Okay, we are good to go. So let's put the foot down and let's stitch this out. It's a 1-minute in real life stitch out. Very nice. Okay, we're on the last stitch, and this is going to do the inner border, and it's also going to do the eyelets, which we can use for either fairy lights or for placing crystals. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and put this darker orange thread up on top. You put your thread color of choice up above, and we're going to stitch this out. It's a 7-minute in real life stitch out. Okay, you ready? Here we go. There you go. Isn't that cool? And I love these. These little, I call them rivets. They're going to be for the future, for whether you want to do fairy lights, which are included in the embellishment kit, or you just want to put crystals, which I think I might be doing on this one. Fairy lights are cool, but sometimes I have challenge putting them in and then keeping the batteries going on a project. So I kind of like to do mostly crystals on my project, but it gives you the option, and I will show you when we get to that stage how to do both. All right, So that is an awesome block. So let's go ahead and take the hoop off the machine. Let's take it over to the table and I'll show you how to finish up this block. Okay, this was a fun block to make. I thoroughly enjoyed this one. All right, so the last thing we have to do is we have to square this block up. This block is going to measure 6.5 inches by 6.5 inches. So I want you to take a look at this outer stitch line. That's what we're going to measure first and make sure that this is the correct measurement to be able to use these lines to trim up our block. And sure enough, from here to here is 6.5. And from the top to the bottom is just shy of 6.5. So we can use those lines to trim up this block. So I'm going to turn mine sideways only because my ruler is approximately the same size as the batting on this side. And I can see by this outer stitch line it's not exactly straight. It's straight from here to here and then it curves out a little bit. So I'm going to straighten this block up by using this line from here to here. And then I'm going to put my ruler line on this outer stitch line just so I can get it straight. All right, so I'm going to say to myself, can I see the stitch line? Yes, this part is underneath the ruler and this part comes out a little bit outside the ruler. So I'm good to make my first cut. Okay, so now I'm going to put this on my mat. And I've got my mat going the opposite direction, 24 to 1. So I've lined it up on 16. So I'm going to go down to 10.5 and line my ruler up with the mat on that 10.5 inch mark. Make sure I'm lined up here. And if that is the case, I can see, can I see the stitch line? Yes, I can. This one's also not exactly straight, but my block is going to be straight from here to here. But I can see that stitch line underneath the ruler, so I am good to make my next cut. Okay, so that measures 6.5 inches. And don't worry if you've got like 1/8 of an inch on the outside of that outer stitch line, is because 1/4 inch is going to disappear into your seam allowance when you sew these all together. So you will not see that stitching at all. Okay, we're going to do the same thing on this side. I'm going to line my ruler up. The stitch line's fairly straight, but I'm also going to use my line on my ruler, lining it up with my fabric to make sure that I am straight. And I'm going to say, can I see my stitch line? Yes, I can. It's right underneath that ruler, so I can make my cut. Got one more to go. Going to go to 16 on the mat, line it up down to 10.5. Line the ruler up with my mat, and I can also use a line across here on my ruler. Everybody's in place. Can I see the stitch line? Yes, it's just under that ruler, and I can make my cut. And there you go. You just did your block number 31. Isn't that fun? I love that satin stitch. It just makes the block look so finished when they do that to the applique piece. Just love it. All right, well, I hope you had as much fun making this block today as I have. So I hope you stay tuned here on Jolly Molly TV for more fun and more blocks in Kimberbell's cute project, Pumpkins and Potions. And until I see you next time, take care and happy stitching. Bye-bye.